1 a.m. Your bedroom. The blue light from the screen stings your eyes. You just finished the third video on how to manage your time. You like it. You save it. You feel a warm rush in your chest. That's dopamine. You put the phone face down. You close your eyes. You feel like tomorrow you will be a completely different person. Morning comes. The alarm rings. Your hand reaches out from the blanket. You hit snooze. Nothing changes. Your desk holds 3 best-selling books, still in plastic. Your notes app holds 20 plans you never started. You are tired, a specific kind of tired that comes from never actually running, yet burning all your energy. Because you fell into a trap, a perfectly engineered trap. It's called fake growth. Self-improvement is a billion-dollar matrix. The underlying code wasn't written to help you change. It was written to keep you hooked. The system doesn't need you to get stronger. The system only needs you to crave getting stronger. The cinematic music, the morning routine montages, the 3 steps to change your life promises, they are anesthetics. They let you borrow the high of success without paying the price of actual pain. You buy the course, you buy the annual subscription for the app, you buy the $300 noise-canceling headphones. You think you're investing in yourself. You are not. You're just buying a receipt for your anxiety. Real change doesn't have a soundtrack. Real change is ugly. It is boring. It is quiet. It is the physical nausea of staring at a blank document. It is the burning in your muscles. It is the specific biting loneliness when you walk away from friends who are comfortable being average. The system hides this cost from you because pain doesn't sell. So they package effort into a product. They put it in your cart. As long as you keep watching, keep scrolling, keep saving, you are the most reliable cash flow on their balance sheet. You think you're breaking out of your comfort zone. You're just buying better furniture for it. Wake up. If knowledge doesn't turn into muscle memory, it is poison. Level 2. The immune system. It is Friday night, 8:30 p.m. You're sitting on the edge of your bed. The room is quiet. Your phone vibrates on the nightstand. It buzzes again and again. It is the group chat. They are at the bar downtown, the one with the neon sign and the $15 cocktails. The cocktails that are mostly ice and cheap syrup. They post a photo. Everyone is smiling. Everyone looks like they belong. They tag you. They ask where you are. Get down here, man. It's Friday. You deserve a break. Your thumbs hover over the keyboard. You want to go. Every instinct in your DNA, trained over 1,000,000 years of evolution, screams at you to stay with the tribe. You type, staying in tonight, working on something. You hit send. You feel a physical, sickening drop in your stomach. The screen goes quiet. No one replies for 5 whole minutes. That silence, that is the friction of reality. You turn your back to the phone, you open your laptop. The fan whirs, the screen is glaringly bright. You open a brokerage account. You read the fine print that you barely understand. You link your bank account. You look at your checking balance. It is embarrassingly low. You transfer $500 into a broad market index fund. It takes 3 minutes. You wait for a feeling of triumph. There are no fireworks. There is no confetti falling across the screen. No one pats you on the back. Just a sterile gray text box that says, "Order pending." You just executed the most important financial decision you've made all year, and you have never felt more incredibly, devastatingly bored. Monday morning, the fluorescent lights in the break room hum. The coffee tastes like burned dirt. Your coworker, the one who complains about his mortgage every single day, walks in. He asks why you didn't show up on Friday. He says you missed a legendary night. You decide to tell the truth. You say you stayed home. You say you are trying to save aggressively and invest. Watch their face. Watch closely. The casual smile drops for a fraction of a microsecond. The eyes narrow. The defense mechanism engages. Then comes the joke. It is always a joke. Oh, look out, everyone. We got Warren Buffett over here. What, you think you're going to be a millionaire skipping one beer? They laugh loudly, too loudly. You force a smile. You laugh with them. But the joke is not a joke. It is an attack. It is a biological defense mechanism. Your social circle is not just a group of friends. It is a living organism. It has a set temperature. It has an accepted level of misery. And it has a highly aggressive immune system. When you stop spending money you don't have, when you stop complaining about the economy being rigged, when you actually put your head down and start building, you stop being one of them. You become a foreign body. By trying to improve, you inadvertently hold up a brutal, high-definition mirror to their own stagnation, and people violently hate the mirror. They will tell you the system is rigged anyway, so why bother? They will tell you $500 in an index fund won't make you rich because inflation will eat it. The worst part, mathematically, they are partially right. $500 won't change your life, but the $500 is not the point. The money is completely irrelevant at this stage. The goal is proving to your own fragile mind that you can bleed socially without crying. The goal is surviving the deafening silence of a Friday night alone in your room, resisting the urge to numb yourself. You don't argue with them in the break room. You don't try to educate them. You just nod. You wash your coffee mug. You go home. You do not check the portfolio. It hasn't moved anyway. You let it sit. You let the uncomfortable distance between you and everyone you know begin to grow. The separation has begun, and it is going to get much, much worse before it gets better. Level 3. The desert of compounding. Year 2, maybe year 3. The initial rush of motivation, it is completely dead, buried. You don't feel inspired anymore. You just feel tired. You log into your Vanguard account. You stare at the screen. You see $14,600. You run the math in your head. You have sacrificed dozens of weekends. You have skipped dinners. You haven't bought a new pair of shoes in 18 months. You have lost touch with 3 people you used to call your best friends. All of that, all that isolation, all that discipline for $14,600, it feels like a sick joke. It's barely enough to buy a used Honda Civic. The math tells you that you are winning. The spreadsheet says the curve is bending. But your human brain, wired for immediate survival, tells you this is too slow. It tells you it is not worth it. You open social media because you are weak for a moment. You watch your peers. The guy who laughed at you in the break room, he just bought a brand new truck. He financed it with an 84-month loan at 9% interest. But on Instagram, he looks like a king. Another friend is posting photos from a beach in Tulum. They are eating steak. They look vibrant. They look incredibly happy. You look down at your desk. You look at your lunch, chicken and rice again, in a scratched plastic container. The silence in your apartment is so heavy it rings in your ears. You sit there, chewing flavorless food, and you ask yourself a terrifying question. Am I the idiot here? Did I miss the point of being alive? You sit with that doubt. It gnaws at you. And then the universe decides to test you. The market breaks. It doesn't just dip, it shatters. Inflation data comes in hotter than expected. The Fed hikes rates aggressively. War breaks out. Supply chains freeze. The S&P 500 drops 19% in 3 brutal, agonizing months. You wake up on a Tuesday morning, you open the app. You are down $4,000 on paper in a single morning. That is 3 months of your painful, disciplined savings, evaporated, gone into the digital ether. Your chest physically tightens. You can't draw a full breath. You open YouTube. Every financial creator you follow has a thumbnail with a shocked face and red arrows pointing straight down. The crash is here. Sell everything. Fear is contagious and you are infected. Your hand reaches for the mouse. It is trembling. The cursor hovers over the sell button. Your brain is screaming at you. Save what's left. Get out. We were wrong. You want the pain to stop. You desperately want the psychological certainty of cash sitting in a checking account, even if inflation is burning it. You stop. You close your eyes. You force air into your lungs. You remember the mechanism. You look at the math again. You realize with chilling clarity that the system actually wants you to sell. The wealth transfer machine requires retail panic to function. The algorithms feed on your fear. The institutional buyers are waiting at the bottom with open mouths, waiting for you to drop your shares. You refuse to feed them. You take your hand off the mouse. You pull it away like the plastic is burning. You open a transfer window. You look at your checking account. You take the rent money you saved for next month. You buy $600 more, directly into the teeth of the crash. You click confirm. You tell no one. You don't post about it. You don't brag about having diamond hands. Because building real wealth is not a movie. It is an agonizingly boring, invisible grind. It rewards supreme psychological discipline with absolutely zero applause. Level 4, the threshold. It happens on a random Wednesday. Not a dramatic Wednesday. The weather outside is completely average. You are standing in your kitchen. You are drinking tap water. You unlock your phone out of habit. You open the app. The number is clear. 6 figures, or maybe 7. The specific threshold doesn't matter. What matters is that it is a number nobody in your bloodline has ever touched. The first time that amount of capital is attached to your name, your social security number. You check it twice. You close the app. You open it again. You wait for a feeling. For years, you thought this exact second would feel like a finish line. You expected a massive rush of adrenaline, a physical release of a breath you've been holding for 5 years. You expected your nervous system to signal, you did it. You are safe now. Instead, it is quiet. That is the part no one ever warns you about. The profound, disorienting, deafening quiet of crossing a threshold that was supposed to change everything. The world doesn't care. The traffic outside sounds exactly the same. You want to call someone. You want to scream it. You dial your mother's number. She picks up. You talk for 25 minutes. You ask about her back pain. You ask if her car is still making that noise. But you do not mention the number. Not because you are intentionally hiding it. You sit there in silence because you suddenly realize you don't know how to say it without sounding like a stranger. The emotional language for this milestone simply does not exist in the house you grew up in. If you tell her, it won't bring you closer. It will create a permanent, unbridgeable distance, a gap between the life you barely escaped and the life you are now living. You don't want her to feel small, so you swallow the news. You say work is fine. You say you are eating well. You hang up. You sit in the kitchen alone. Weeks later, you go out to dinner with old friends, the ones who used to laugh at your budget. The check comes. It is expensive. You drop your card on the table before anyone can reach for their wallet. You say it's nothing. You say you've got it. They say you didn't have to do that. There is a micro silence. It lasts exactly 1.5 seconds too long. It is heavy. It is loaded with unspoken assumptions and sudden self-consciousness. Nobody mentions it again for the rest of the night. But it happened. You realize you are losing people who aren't even leaving. You are outgrowing the soil you were planted in. This intense, specific loneliness is the invisible tax on your growth, and you pay it in full, every single day. Level 5, the hidden game. The friction of the early years is gone. The compounding has violently accelerated. The first 100,000 took you 5 agonizing years of scraping. The next one took 3. The one after that took 18 months. Your net worth crosses the $1 million mark. Then it keeps going. And then the architecture of the world changes around you. The doors you used to bang on suddenly open silently by themselves. You are now classified as an accredited investor under strict SEC definitions. The public market, the one with the panic selling and the YouTube gurus, is no longer your only playground. The private market appears from the shadows. You receive an email, a private equity co-investment, or a private credit fund offering senior secured loans, a 12% floating yield, paid quarterly. The catch, a $100,000 minimum check size, and your money is locked up, illiquid, for 5 to 7 years. You don't flinch. You read the waterfall structure, 2 and 20. You finally understand the concept of the risk premium. You are being paid a massive premium specifically for your ability to give up liquidity. That is the ultimate trade. Patience is no longer just a virtue. It is a highly compensated skill. The financial influencers on the internet never told you this because they don't play at this altitude. They don't have the capital to access this game. You wire $100,000 on a Tuesday afternoon. You feel absolutely nothing. No fear, no hesitation. Your portfolio is now a machine, earning through 4 distinct mechanisms simultaneously: equity growth in the public markets, dividend yields, private credit distributions, and massive depreciation offsets from real estate to wipe out your tax burden. You look back down at the people at level 2, arguing about which stock to buy next. You realize you are not playing the same game anymore. The board is completely different. The rules are different. It requires massive capital to access the real capital, and now you have both. Level 6, the architect. The number is $6.4 million, or maybe it's $10 million. You say it out loud to yourself exactly once, then you stop saying it forever. You stop checking your portfolio returns on Sundays. The calendar on your wall means absolutely nothing to you now. You stop thinking in terms of months or quarters. You begin thinking in decades, in generations. Your effective tax rate this year drops to 11%. While the middle class pays 30%, you pay 11%. That is not a loophole. That is not an accident. It took your family office and your legal team 6 weeks to meticulously structure. Charitable remainder trusts, stepped-up basis upon inheritance, a Delaware holding company wrapped in an LLC. Every single move is perfectly legal, flawlessly documented. The wealthy do not just have more money than you, they have access to a completely different, parallel financial system. You set up 529 education accounts for children you don't even have yet. You seed them with $150,000 at birth. At a conservative 7% return over 18 years, that account will hold over $500,000 before they even finish high school. They will never know the panic of student debt. This is the architecture. You are no longer just building wealth for yourself to spend. You are building a fortress of wealth that builds more wealth for people who are not yet born. At this extreme scale, compound interest ceases to be a concept of personal finance. It transforms into structural power. It is an instrument of economic stratification. The machine you built is so massive, so efficient, that it no longer requires your physical effort to keep running. It operates completely without your name, without your presence, and without your attention. You are no longer a participant. You are the architect, and your job is done. Level 7, the loop. Somewhere early this morning, a 23-year-old walks into a glass corporate tower for the very first time. He sits at a desk that isn't his. He opens an app. He opens his first brokerage account. He sets up a $200 automatic monthly transfer. He smiles. He feels smart. He thinks this is about buying a nicer car in 5 years. He thinks this is about retiring to a beach comfortably. He does not know that the $200 is completely beside the point. He has absolutely no idea about the invisible ceiling above his head. He does not know about the excruciating lonely dinners, the brutal market crashes that will test his sanity, the silent, bleeding discipline required to survive. He does not know that he is not building a portfolio. He is building a mechanism to escape the matrix. The mechanism is the point. It was always the mechanism. but he will learn. Don't break the loop. See you in the next one.